So we are in a good place with our membership, but every year, we have 300 teachers retire, so we want to make sure we have a nice buffer in our membership numbers. So please reach out to your friends and tell them how important it is to join. If they join by the end of the month, we're going to give them a $25 Target gift card just as a token of appreciation. But I will say this too. If teacher is not a member right now, with the climate that's going on with the DCF investigations and the police investigations that our teachers are dealing with, they are playing Russian roulette. They are playing Russian roulette if they are not a member and do not have those legal protections. So make sure you're asking your friends to join. Okay, we have flyers over there. And all right. I am going to turn it over to Fred Kilgallen. Fred's our political coordinator. He's a teacher at Mel High, and he is ready to go.
I don't know this matters much. For those of you who may not know this august body here, I'll introduce them and tell you just a little bit about them. This is Misty Belford and David Meter. They're both running for District 1 in the north area. So we're all professionals here. We know we can't vote for everyone up here, so you may want to sort of tune in to your candidate, depending on what region you live in. Next to Mr. Meter is Ms. Campbell and Mr. Ziegler. They're running for District 5 in Palm Bay. And also Mr. Paterakis. There's also an open seat this year in District 2, but so far no one has declared for that one. So, interesting. The person who is currently in that seat is Mr. Craig, I believe.
Okay, so that would be the man behind.
Right. Right. Okay. To start off, we sent questions to each of the candidates. Everybody got the questions? Yes, hooray. 2 questions to sort of give them a chance to present their vision of what they see happening, what they'd like to see happening. And so we're going to give each candidate somewhere between 2 and 3 minutes to respond to those questions. And after you're done, we have some questions we'd like to ask that have been solicited from the members present and from our members on Facebook as well. So why don't we start with Mr. Paterakis and just work our way down the table here. All right, Mr. Paterakis, you ready? Okay.
Are we going to introduce ourselves?
You can, and the 2 questions that I sent you, you can answer those.
Okay.
All right? And we ask respectfully, we will be kind, but we will also be firm. No longer than 3 minutes, between 2 and 3.
3 minutes to introduce and then 2 minutes for each question.
3 minutes for all of it.
Oh, all of it.
So we're clear.
All right, that's great. 3 minutes. It's almost like the school board where you're timed. Who's a timer? How many of you have been a teacher for less than 4 years? Okay. You guys know who I am. I've run so many times, but it amazes me because even today, when I visit schools or if I see a teacher, not many people know who I am, which goes to show how uninformed the teachers are. I want to dedicate this, before I begin with everything, I want to dedicate this to my father and my brother who just passed away last year. I lost them within 3 months. My father taught me what integrity and what character is, and my brother, who I finally talked to move down to Florida, never was really good in school, but was very successful as a iron worker. I finally talked him into coming down last year, and actually today was the day I saw him in the hospital unconscious. Yesterday on the 30th of 2017, he called me. He was going to come down and visit me. I told him I was in Palm Bay looking at houses, come down here, and that's the last I've heard of him. He was in a car crash. But anyway, I want to dedicate to them because I run for school board because I tell you the truth. Not many people want to hear the truth, but I do tell you the truth. And you've seen me get hauled off many times from the school board. When I was fighting against Common Core, 911 was called on me by the former school board member, M.B. Nisi. When I was at the school board just 2 years ago, when I was asking about the teacher who showed his, you know what, to the students, I was hauled off and arrested. This has got to stop. We need to protect our children. And it's not the fences that are going to protect our children. It's the people that are inside, the predators. And we got to make sure that we clean up. Just like we see the police need to clean up their personnel. If you want BFT, if you want the teachers to be respected, then you need to do your job and get rid of the bad apples, because the bad apple spoils a bunch. What does BPS need to achieve that is not yet achieved, and how will you help achieve that? I don't think BPS has achieved true efficiency and long and short-term oversight of the budget. I would ask third parties to review BPS construction contracts and examine other school districts around the state for purchasing ideas. I would establish a true financial accounting system so we could life cycle our capital and facilities and prepare a capital repair and replacement plan to be proactive rather than belatedly reactive in maintenance. In 2020, the sales tax ends, and if we don't get control of the facilities and the capital, we will crash again. It is imperative the administration show us their plans for 2020 or 2021 and beyond when the sales tax expires. What, if anything, can school board members do to affect funding for a school district? School board members can raise lower taxes or lobby the legislator for more or less money. The more appropriate question would be, how would I shift expenditures in the current budget if I had the ability to do so? I would get the financial and maintenance systems online, ensure the finance director has visibility into each individual school's accounts, sort out how many are truly necessary to be 12-month employees, and ensure Brevard Public Schools has a financial plan in place for when the sales tax ends. I would work to lessen the number of staff in Viera and place more assistants in the field, reducing excessive management and flattening the administration pyramid. We need to bring the money away from Viera back into schools. The most important people in education are the teachers. And I would love to see salaries. I'm sorry, Dr. Blackburn, we're paying you way too much in Brevard County. So we need to bring that back down to the classroom teacher, because you and I know Dr. Blackburn doesn't teach the kids. Dr. Blackburn, I'm sorry, could pass away and the kids would never know otherwise. But if a teacher passes away in the classroom, you know that they would be affected. So let's talk about real work that we can do, real world work that we can do in our classrooms, and stop doing the we're going to pay up at the top, because at the top nothing gets done, and nothing gets done right, as we know with the $5 million no bid contract. So anyway, I'm sure that's past my 3 minutes, but thank you for my time.
What commitment are you willing to voice today to this district's teachers?
That's an age thing.
Mr. Paterakis, 2 minutes, please.
Sure. I don't know if you know, but I was in the Air Force. I turned down a $50,000 bonus to re-enlist to become a teacher. To change the world, we know it has to come through education. I worked for Brevard County Schools, and I lost my job because I would not do something that was not only illegal but unethical for my students. I don't know how many of you know that. It's never publicized because the powers to be don't want that to be publicized. But I've noticed that I've run, how many know that I've run, this is my 6th time running. Since 2008, since I've lost my job, I ran for school board because I wanted to change. Ladies and gentlemen, your profession is getting worse. I sometimes think that they did get rid of me because I am more successful financially, but I do miss teaching students, because there's no job that gives you the satisfaction that when you get those kids to learn something. What should I promise you? Ziegler, Misty, they promise you the same thing every 2 years, every 4 years, whenever they're up. I've shown it. I have fought for you guys. I fought for the kids. I don't need this job. I make plenty of money. I don't need to be hassled with buffoonery. But I have passion, and I want to change things once and for all. But ladies and gentlemen, you got to take it upon yourselves. You got to do something yourself and elect the right people. Not the people that are endorsed by Florida Today, and sometimes not endorsed by BFT, because BFT endorsed this guy. And unfortunately, you're reaping this guy's decisions. So, I don't know, I'd like to knock you guys over the head and go, come on, like you do to a student when they're glazed over and you're like, come on, ladies and gentlemen, you can get this, all right? Time for a change, but vote for a person that you know never has lied to you, always been on the right side of all issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now might be an opportune time to address the issue of being as respectful as we can to each other while we're answering and asking questions. So I have...
If I may, he was very respectful. He said they're reaping the benefits of my decisions, and that is absolutely true. So thank you for that.
Wanting to be sure that things proceed, along an even keel here. What can the board do to shift the balance a little bit to make sure that parents are just as accountable as the teachers have been being held accountable?
I'm not a good politician, so a lot of times I don't tell you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. All right? Reality check. Your job is dependent on teaching children. If parents did their job, we wouldn't need any of you, okay? Yes, Misty was right. When I started teaching, I taught inner city Cleveland, and I had the same issue. A new teacher, I had a child that could not read. Sent letters, I need you to come in, I need you to come in, I need you to come in. Finally, after a few weeks, calling and leaving messages, I decided to visit the home. And I found that the parents didn't have a fifth grade education themselves. So they couldn't read my note home. What I find is that the problem with education now is that we're pushing these kids to this test, and we're finding that not all of these kids can, everybody develops differently. We hit puberty at different. Why do we have a school system that believes that you're a certain age, you're supposed to do everything at this age? I know when I taught third grade, I was teaching preschool all the way up to graduate school, college, to these kids, because that's the range that they have. If we're going to change education, if we're going to get kids, our job, we have those kids for 6.5 hours. What we do in our classroom can do a lot more than you have those kids probably more than some of these parents have their kids. You can make the difference, but you've got to have the support. And until we change things, shake things up, and say, you know what, the test is great, but that's not going to help this child. This is not going to help the child be successful in life. That's where we need to focus on. Stop the special interest testing, the money that goes to that, and bring it back into the classroom. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Currently, our most vulnerable EBD students are not fully supported because of a shortage of instructional assistant staffing. And tied with that are the teachers who are teaching in VPK and PKVE with their different models. As this is a long-standing issue, what systemic change would you make to help with the staffing and to straighten out the VPK and the PKVE and all that in the next year? What could you do to help, I guess, refund, reinvigorate, revitalize these programs?
I don't know what to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. You know, this issue has been going on for decades now, and what amazes me, and I hate picking on Dr. Blackburn, but he makes over 225, so I think he can take it. But listen, we don't have money for teachers, we don't have money for VE, we don't have money for all of these things. But gosh, didn't we give Dr. Blackburn a company car that the taxpayers pay for? Our board has now allows him to go down to Miami, wherever he's from, Boca Raton, and where his family lives, on our dime. But we don't have money for our kids. Ludicrous, isn't it? I'm the only guy that will fight for you guys. And I'm telling you because you're going to make the same mistake year in. I've seen it 8 years now. Or no, 10 years now. I lost count. If you want somebody to fight for you, then you need to elect me in this district. Because no one else will, because here we are again, having the same issues over and over again. Thank you very much.
27.7% of adults in Brevard County hold a bachelor's degree. Only 27.7%. Is there a good reason for not reestablishing a comprehensive vocational training curriculum in Brevard County? And if you wanted to do that, what would that look like?
As I stated, my brother was never really good at school, but he is very successful as an iron worker. We do need to look at every gift a child has. And if their gift is working with their hands, then so be it. But again, what I'll say to you, and I hope you just go home, think about it, take what you've heard today, and be an individual. And if you feel like I'm telling you what you need to hear, then be strong. Because if you second guess yourself, if you start to go with the crowds, because we know here in Brevard County, the majority of people, we keep electing the wrong person. So if you feel like I've been on the point, then be strong yourselves. It's time to fight, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm the person that will fight for you. And the kids, especially the kids, because they're number one priority. So I could go on, but it'll just go over and so on and so forth. So think about it and then come back. If you want to call me, I'm there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to leave you to your closing remarks. We're going to give you 2 minutes each to address any issue that you feel like hasn't been addressed adequately, to say what you would like to say to this room full of voters.
I thank you for the honor of serving you and Brevard Public Schools in this community. It's something that I didn't have on my radar screen until my arm was twisted multiple times and said no multiple times. Now I'm in a place where I never thought I would be, senior person on the board. And I can tell you I've been fighting diligently for our employees and working alongside your BFT leadership on things that I was not aware of, but I bring to the board and we discuss them and we correct them because your board does care. And also the fact of everybody comes up and says they're going to look at the budget and they're going to find money. I can tell you that this leadership is doing a good job of that. Dr. Blackburn is on top of it, and this board is working to save money. We've done it with health care. We're going to be saving over $4 million in cost avoidance for your health care, which is going to save you money. We're working on other things. We've found a way to generate revenue. We're generating revenue through rebates in our pharmacy. We're very successful in lobbying our legislators for federally connected legislation, which is now a permanent part of the FEFP, thanks to your board members and for the superintendents, previous and current, for lobbying them to make that reoccurring revenue of $2.8 million a year to this county. So it's not just finding money and saving money, it's coming up with creative ways to help our financial bottom line so that we can do more for you and for our students. And I commit that will continue. I guarantee you with your current board, that behavior will continue and doing more for you will continue. Thank you.
I actually enjoy having this time limit for board members. It's like, oh, finally we get to shut them up.
If only.
I know. Oh, like I said before, the last time I ran, if you want a ruler, you got Andy Ziegler. If you want a servant, you got me. Enough with the buffoonery. It's time to make a change. I have houses in 4 out of the 5 districts. I could move to 2nd district to run and probably win because people know my name. But my purpose is to run in Palm Bay because Palm Bay needs the help. And we need to get rid of Andy Ziegler once and for all.
You need to stop.
It's unfortunate, but it's what it is. And if you want to hear Blackburn this, Blackburn that, Blackburn this, Blackburn that, you got Andy Ziegler. If you want somebody that's fighting for the students, that's not politically correct, and also, gosh, could you imagine if I was on the school board, how entertaining that may be? You might have people actually watching it for the right reasons. And I'm not going to have an hour of patting ourselves, BPS on the back, on how well we're doing, when our teachers know deep down inside, we're not doing that well. When teachers are struggling to put food on the table, we're not doing that well. When students are not learning as best as they can, we're not doing that well. When special interest is a priority over teachers and students, we're not doing that well. So yes, we can be very politically correct, and unfortunately I am a fighter. And I really tried to decide this year what I was going to do because I'm sick of running. And I'm sick of trying to save people that are not willing to tread water. You guys are drowning and you gotta tread water for me to save you. But then the other side of me is I cannot stand when people take advantage of other people. And that's where I'm at right now. It's like, I will not allow that. And that's why I'm running. Thank you very much.
All right. I want to thank the board members and the candidates for coming out to this event. Give them a round of applause, please. Thank you.